The legislation was introduced in the monsoon session. It saw passage in the Lok Sabha. Now the bill has led us to, despite all the criticisms and the controversies attached to it, one of the questions that has surrounded this legislation is the question of whether there is a judicial overreach, with the CGI being part of the panel, as per the ruling of the Supreme Court, the panel that selects the Election Commissioner of India. Now, how did the CGI become part of this panel? Let's take a quick look into the judicial history of this legislation. In 2015, a gentleman named Anuj Baranwal, he filed a PIL in the Supreme Court, challenging the constitutional validity of the centre appointing the Election Commissioner of India. The case was taken up by a two-member bench, then it was sent to a higher bench, and the Supreme Court in its observations noted that the Article 324, which prescribes the process that leads to the appointment of the CEC and other ECs, since Article 324 talks about a parliamentary law that looks at this appointment, and that since no such law has been appointed, there is a constitutional vacuum into this procedure, and so the Supreme Court in its judgment was prescribing a panel, and the panel was going to have 3 members. The chairperson of the panel was going to be the Prime Minister of India. The other 2 members will be the Chief Justice of India, and the third member is going to be the leader of the opposition. If there is no constitutional post of a leader of the opposition in the parliament, then the leader of the largest opposition party in the Lok Sabha will be part of this panel that elects the CEC and the other ECs. While there has been a bit of a criticism against the judiciary on whether it has tried to enter a domain which should ideally belong to the executive, supporters of this move say that the arrangement which has been prescribed by the Supreme Court was a temporary one unless the government brings in a bill. The existing law does not talk about the provisions of any qualification of the candidates, and it doesn't talk about the salary. But the bill, the legislation, the proposed legislation, the CEC bill says that the salary and the allowance of the CEC will be same as that of the cabinet secretary. Now, currently, the CEC, it draws the salary which is equal to the salary of a judge in the Supreme Court, which means that with the new bill, you're looking at a bit of change in their remuneration. Now, that's one of the criticisms against this bill, is that it is lessening the amount of money that the CEC and the ECs draw. What is the opposition's stand on the matter? Now, the opposition has vehemently criticized the legislation. The opposition says that the neutrality of the EC will be in question because 2 of the 3 members of the search committee, of the selection committee, will be members of the BJP, because the Prime Minister is a member of the BJP, the Union Minister that he selects will be a member of the BJP. So with both of them, the panel will have a majority of BJP members, which will bring to question the neutrality of the appointment of the EC. That's one of the points that the opposition is making. The EC will see a vacancy in February 2024, the year that the Lok Sabha elections are going to be held. Just months before the 2024 general elections, EC Anup Chandra Pandey is going to retire from office. So this legislation is bound to have an implication on his appointment, on the appointment of his successor. The bill most likely is going to see passage in the Rajya Sabha because the government, the BJP definitely has the numbers that it needs. Now, Wednesday night, when the government announced the list of business for both the houses, the opposition said that it stands opposed to the CEC bill. Congress chief spokesperson Jairam Ramesh took to Twitter, which is now known as X, and he says that after a lot of pressure from the opposition, the government has finally come out with an agenda of the special session, and he says that unanimously the India parties, the India grouping of opposition parties, stands opposed to this legislation.